So I'm going to talk about something a bit controversial today. I'm going to be talking about the network that has been saying that financial promotions is all types of content. The ludicrousness of this email that has been leaked to me is crazy. There are people who are leaving the network. There are people who are very upset about it. It actually upset me by the concept of it. And I did a post on it on social media and it went crazy. Lots of people are engaged in it. And I'm going to talk about it now. I'm going to show you the email that was leaked to me. I'm going to have redacted all the information about the network because I do not think it is fair to put the network on blast and name and shame them, but I'm going to show the email that was leaked to me, and then I'm going to give you my reaction to it and also kind of compare it to what I think personally is incorrect. Now, the big thing to point out of this is the FCA, nearly everything is always, not always, but most of it, especially in financial promotions, is interpretation of their guidelines, not set rules. So my interpretation might be different to theirs, and I respect that. But whether or not this is a good decision for a business, that's the thing I want you to hold judgment on. So stick around till the end. I'm going to tell you my full opinion on it and kind of break it down as to how it aligns with my interpretation of the rules. But let's have a look at the email. Social media remains a powerful and popular way to engage with consumers and grow your business. Its broad reach presents excellent opportunity, but it also increases potential risk if posts are not clearly managed. This is particularly important in the context of Consumer Duty, which places greater accountability on how we communicate and deliver services. Now, the key principles of social media marketing, what they've said is that all content shared, especially on social media, must comply with the following principles. Financial promotions must be clear, fair, and not misleading. I can have that tattooed on my forehead at this point. They must offer a balanced view of both benefits and risks, and the prominent risk warnings must be included where appropriate. Okay, so nothing at all wrong there. Fine, completely good. Let's carry on. So then it says educational content and financial promotions. It gets a bit spicy as we go along. While insert network's name, not historically classified educational content as financial promotion, this position has been reviewed in line with the updated FCA Consumer Duty requirements. The FCA recognise that educational content can still influence consumer decisions or unintentionally mislead, particularly when it includes assumptions, examples, or indirect inducements to act. So the FCA have asked all networks and DA firms, including insert network, to review their educational content policies. Now, the types of educational content. So the basic one, which is no need for approval, in their example is, the Bank of England has reduced the base rate. Wow, exciting. I bet that will get people to act. Anyway, carry on. Bank of England has reduced its base rate. That's pretty much what you can post. That's okay. No approval needed. However, detailed, so anything basic is fine, but anything detailed requires approval. It says, for example, videos on borrowing potential, ISA strategy breakdowns, things like that. It'd be interesting to know what they deem, and we kind of go through it, but it'd be interesting to know what they deem as detailed and not detailed. It's super vague. There's no measurement of what that is. How many words, how many numbers? I'd love to know. So we will see. Posts based on factual, publicly available information do not require approval. Okay, interesting. Example is the base rate has decreased by 4.25%. Nearly misled you then. Approval required. Let's talk about the base rate and nothing else, which you'll see in a minute, but nothing else. Approval required. The following types of content must be submitted for approval and include the appropriate risk warnings. And this, I'm going to say it again, strap in, because this is where it gets bad. So, estimations of borrowing based on fictional salaries. So that needs to be signed off. Okay. Disagree, but okay. We'll talk about it in a minute. Explanation of compound interest. Isn't that a basic, just kind of factual, relevant information? I bet you if I could go to ChatGPT, hello ChatGPT, can you give me an explanation of what compound interest is? Let's see what it says. Now I wonder, are they going to give us a risk warning? Doesn't look like it. No risk warnings. Shame on you, ChatGPT. Shame on you. That is not very good. So, according to said network. Anyway, let's carry on. So, an explanation of compound interest, lender strategy tips or qualification advice, guidance for self-employed individuals or company directors. I don't know why they've singled out that. I don't know why specifically guidance of self-employed directors, self-employed people and company directors, how that is not like anything to do with self-employed. So everything else is fine. Self-employed, no, that's not allowed. Cool. The client stories and testimonials. For example, Dave got his keys today. So that requires approval. So every client that gives you a testimonial better get that signed off. Better tell them that if not, we want to go back for approval to get it done. I mean, this is like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I mean, it really is. I read this about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I'm still getting angry now. My blood pressure's probably going up just reading this. It's just the dumbest thing I've ever read. Anyway, mortgage myth busting or educational breakdowns. Okay, so pretty much any content. What else? Now, my favorite bit here, it says here, just on this one, the top tip. So this is exciting. Before you post, ask yourself, does this content prompt the viewer to contact me or act, even subtly? If so, it must be approved, submitted for approval, even if there is no direct call to action. If you're unsure about this post, need guidance, or have any questions, please contact insert email. I bet that email was lit up like a Christmas tree. So effectively, what this network is saying, and it's so hard not to say the name, but what this network is saying is, you know, what they say that like effectively do nothing, be nothing, say nothing. So say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. And just pray that if you just sit there long enough, someone's going to come to you. But you better not fart in the direction of a social media account without them getting prior approval. They even see it as, no, not happening. This is ridiculous. So I asked, I mean, I have my own take on it, but I went to the old GPTs, as we all do. And I asked ChatGPT, Mr. GPT, what do you think of this? To which its response is the following things. And I'm going to talk about it, but react to it on my take of it. So, ChatGPT, what is wrong with this internal email? So it says, all educational content needs approval. Ready for it? That is not true. The FCA has not said that every piece of educational content is a financial promotion. If you're just sharing facts at the base rate and not encouraging people to take action, it's not a promotion. And it doesn't need approval, which again, to their credit, they did say that if you mention the base rate and only the base rate, you'll be okay. The FCA rules only apply if the posts include call to actions, recommendations, or could influence someone to act. Now that's one, this one here, the influence someone to act, is something we'll probably talk about in a minute. But that's the big one there. So let's talk about the second bit. It says, the email mixes up the terms and creates confusion. You don't say. So it talks about basic and detailed educational content needing different rules, but the FCA doesn't use those terms at all. There is no definition of what that is in the FCA. What matters here is the intention and the effect of the post, not how it is detailed. Number 3, not everything needs a risk warning. Risk warnings are only needed when a post promotes something like borrowing, investing, or taking action, when it promotes it. If you are not promoting anything, you don't need a risk warning. So let's take the example of the testimonial situation. You're not promoting by saying, come and do this. The promotion, from my understanding of it, is if you are actively saying, come and work with me. Which, by the way, when I work with clients, I say you shouldn't do that unless you want to do them on certain pieces of content in which you then should get it signed off. I have no issue with content being signed off. It should be signed off for the right things. You absolutely should be signed off. But not everything needs a risk warning. Only if it promotes something like borrow. In other words, a proper call to action. Not a like, not a comment. This network specifically originally, and this was coming around the corner because they originally said anything with a comment on it, anything where you ask them to comment, like, or share, that's some sort of promotion. No, it's not. It's just general information. It's helping people out. It's adding value back to the industry. It's about raising a brand awareness. They need to know what these clear things are. What would I class as a call to action? Book a call with me. I can help you get a mortgage, book a call. I don't think, by the way, saying you should go and speak to a bank or a mortgage broker is actually a call to action. If you're a mortgage broker and you happen to be a mortgage broker, but you are saying, this is my take on it, that you are saying you should go and speak to your bank or building society or mortgage broker, you're whoever it is, not saying, actually, I'm one too, that is fair, it's not misleading, it's balanced, which is all the stuff the FCA want. And I'm a big advocate of that. As long as it's balanced, you always have other options. You speak to a bank or a broker. Go and speak to something. And if they happen to come to you, great, that's what we want. But obviously, they don't have to. It's up to them. You're not saying, speak to me, I can deal with it. That's what I'm not a cool fan of. That I do agree. At that point, that needs signing off. But this doesn't need signing off. This is crazy. It's absolutely ludicrous, honestly. Let's see what else they say. They've got here, factual, public information doesn't need signing off. If the post is just public information, and with no advice and push to act, you can push it without signing. You can post it, without signing off. For example, the base rate is increased. that's just a fact, it's not a promotion. Yes, absolutely is a fact. But by the way, factual public information doesn't need signing off. So this is where the argument lies, and what my client is saying is every single one of the lender criteria points are public information available on their websites. The affordability calculators are public information on their website. They can get it. Your Google reviews, they are public information. Trustpilot, public information. An explanation of what a swap rate is. Or, if we go back to our good old friend, which, you know, I'm sure this network's not going to like us talking about this, but let me go back to old ChatGPT telling us all about compound interest, which, naughty, they probably shouldn't without their risk warnings. Public information. I bet you, let's try another one. Can you give me some short tips and small tips around buying a house and getting a mortgage as a self-employed person in the UK? Let's see if that works. Oh, there we go. ChatGPT can only pull information from publicly sourced information. So what they're saying is any of this has to be signed off. I mean that's ludicrous, right? I mean, am I wrong in this? Do you think I'm wrong? I don't know. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So my personal take on this is that, and my final kind of part and words on this is, I'm joking about it. I'm kicking off all that stuff, but I'm actually quite sad about it. And I'm sad for a number of reasons, and I'll tell you why. So first of all, I'm sad because actually the network that is in question, if you'd asked me 3 years ago, they would have been my top recommended network. I thought they were really good. Something is happening in head office in this specific network that we're obviously not privy to. And someone is making extreme decisions to try and reduce all risk. Somebody most likely with not very good business acumen, because to effectively not market and brand yourself just seems ridiculous. In the digital world where nowadays everybody generates their leads online, this is going to be the dumbest thing you can do as a network. No one's going to go. And it doesn't matter how great your offering is, in which this network said offering is actually pretty good. It's not a bad network. It's actually a very good network. But has been progressively over the last few years getting more and more like tight as a duck's arse when it comes to their compliance. And I'm into compliance. I don't have a problem with compliance. Never have. My dad, who's head of compliance at Spicer Hart, which I think was Mortgage Direct at the time. And he also was head of training at Connells. I know compliance. I get compliance. It's not the people that everyone always says it's the business prevention unit. It's not. But it's very much becoming that with this specific situation. It's becoming the business prevention unit. It's becoming, what do they say? The Star Wars, you're becoming the one thing you swore to defeat. And it's really sad because the people who are going to lose out is you as the advisors, because you physically can't stay there. And I'm not telling you to leave this network at all. I'm not telling you to do anything. If you like this network, it's got not a problem with it. You do you. I really don't care. I just need to voice my opinion on it. But everybody's going to have to come to an ultimate decision of, can I stay at this network when it is constantly hammering my ability to make money? Because that's what it's doing. I genuinely, when I read that email, couldn't believe I read it. I was actually in hospital, but I was having an annual checkup. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, this is just the dumbest thing I've ever read. But you have to seriously think, if you're someone in that network, you seriously think, are we doing the right thing here? Or if you have something we don't know, then tell us. Because if you know information about the FCA that we don't, then fine. But no other network's doing this. And I've had chats with quite a few people within networks who saw my original post who were like, that's not true. We don't need that. So it's just crazy. Anyway, I would love to hear, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments about this. What's your take on it? But yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's absolutely mind-blowing. If you enjoyed this video, you want to check out my next one on screen, which is all about how to survive the AI revolution that is inevitably coming and what it is you actually sell as a broker, because information is starting to become free and abundant and it's getting hard. So you want to watch that one to get a competitive advantage. Give it a click.